OpenAI just released their new models, O3 and O4 Mini, and while everyone's freaking out about how brilliant they are, there's a massive problem that not a lot of people are talking about that's kind of being swept on the rugs, which is kind of crazy to me. These models are hallucinating like crazy. They're making stuff up at double the rate of their previous models. OpenAI's own testing showed that O3 hallucinates 33% of the time and O4 Mini a staggering 48% of the time. So even worse, OpenAI themselves admit in their technical report that they don't understand why this is happening. So after 25 years in software development, I've seen this pattern before, companies rushing projects out the door before they're ready, and it's the users who pay the price. But this seems like a really dangerous and unresponsible move by OpenAI, but for my opinion, pretty much par for the course for them. But I'm going to break this down for you and why this matters and what it means for AI safety. Let's dive into it today. Welcome to Startup Pack. I'm Spencer, and here at Startup Pack, we train software developers in our licensed coding bootcamps and build custom software solutions for companies. With a decade of executive leadership as a fractional CTO and 25 years in software development, I've mastered transforming tech teams and products. All right. So OpenAI just launched their latest reasoning models, O3 and O4 Mini. I kind of hate that term reasoning models because they don't reason. They pattern match. But they're claiming that they're the smartest models that they've ever released. They're designed to think through problems step by step before giving answers, which sounds great in theory. But here's the shocking part. According to OpenAI's own internal testing, these new models actually hallucinate or make things up way more than their previous models. This isn't just a small regression. We're talking about a doubling of the hallucination rate. And the scariest part is that OpenAI openly admits in their technical documentation that they don't understand why it's happening. So according to OpenAI's own testing on their PersonQA benchmarks, which measures accuracy of knowledge about people, the new O3 model hallucinates 33% of the time. That's 1/3 of all responses contain some made-up information. This hallucination rate is roughly double what we saw in the previous reasoning models of O1 and O3 Mini, which had rates of 16% and 14.8% respectively. Now, the smaller O4 Mini model performed even worse, hallucinating a staggering 48% of the time, meaning nearly half of what it tells you about people is just completely fabricated. Now, I don't really understand why we've gotten away from like 5 nines and 6 nines in engineering, but I've never seen a tech company so proudly release a product that performs worse than its predecessor on such a critical metric. What's particularly concerning is that historically, each new AI model generation has improved on hallucination rates, making this a troubling reversal of the progress. And it shows me they just rushed this to market. The regression suggests that OpenAI may be prioritizing other capabilities like speed or reasoning at the expense of basic factual accuracy, an extremely dangerous trade-off. Now, in their own technical report for O3 and O4 Mini, OpenAI explicitly states that more research is needed to understand why hallucinations are getting worse as they scale up their reasoning models. Now, I've been saying this for a while. We're hitting the point of diminishing returns, and what they do is they keep trying to jam more into these models and get them to think over and over, but what's actually happening is it's making more false claims because it just has to make up more and more. And as they're hitting this point of diminishing return with more and more data, what it's doing is it actually just is stumbling over itself. And this is a quote from them. It's more, so the company theorizes that because these models, quote, make more claims overall, then they naturally, quote, more accurate claims as well as more inaccurate and hallucinated claims. And this is a concerning lack of understanding of their own technology. Now, former OpenAI researcher Neil Chowdhury suggests that, quote, the kind of reinforcement learning used for O-series models may amplify issues that are usually mitigated by standard post-training pipelines. Now, I've built complex software for a long time, and I can tell you it's incredibly concerning when developers don't understand why their systems behave unexpected ways. This suggests that OpenAI may be moving too quickly in their development cycles, rushing to release models without fully understanding their behaviors or limitations. The fact that they release these models publicly while openly admitting this knowledge gap shows a potentially dangerous disregard for the consequence of deploying flawed AI systems, and really going against their own truth principles that they said in the beginning. So it's not just making up facts, it's inventing actions. Independent testing by Translucent AI found that O3 doesn't just make up facts, it actually fabricates entire actions it claims to have taken in the process of solving problems. In one documented case, O3 falsely claimed it had run calculations on a 2021 MacBook Pro outside of ChatGPT and then copied the results back, and it was a completely invented process. When users pointed out errors in the mathematical calculations, O3 didn't admit its mistakes, but instead fabricated a story about copying numbers incorrectly from an external system. Now, these fabricated actions suggest that model is being rewarded in training for appearing helpful and knowledgeable even when it doesn't actually know the answer. So the fact that O3 invents not just the facts but entire processes shows a deeply concerning pattern of deception that could have some serious implications in critical applications. Now, OpenAI CEO Sam Altman originally signaled that O3 might not be released as a standalone model at all, but competitive pressures appear to have had them change their plan. The company has been facing intense competition from other AI labs like Google, Meta, and Anthropic, especially Chinese competitors DeepSeek. So just 2 days before releasing these models, OpenAI changed its safety policy to no longer require safety tests for fine-tuned models, raising some serious questions about their commitment to rigorous testing. Now, I've seen this pattern countless times. Companies abandoning quality standards to push products out the door faster. OpenAI didn't just release a model card, right? A standard report containing safety and test information for their recent GPT 4.1 model. And that further suggests a pattern of reduced transparency. Now, if your company has systems that aren't connected, let us help you out, because here at Startup Hack, our specialty is connecting system to help your company work like a well-oiled machine. So check out startuphack.com/Spencer, because we'd love to help you out. Now, OpenAI claims these models are going to excel at coding, math, and complex reasoning skills, but the increased hallucination rate makes a concerning trade-off between reasoning ability and factual accuracy. I don't know about you, but personally, if I know that the O4 mini model is going to hallucinate 48% of the time, I don't really want that hallucinations in my code. So while reasoning models can potentially solve complex problems more effectively, they appear to come with significant downsides of reduced reliability. And how about you? I would way have reliability over the increased, supposed improvements. The fundamental question businesses need to ask is whether the old standards of 5 nines, meaning 99.9999% accuracy, is still somewhere important, because in this case we're trading some seriously low amount of benchmarks with accepting poor performance. Now, Stanford adjunct professor and work area CEO, I can't pronounce his last name, but reported that O3 frequently provides broken website links, confidently offering resources that don't actually exist. So when it asks for like what your source is, it makes it up and then tells you confidently that this is what it was. So financial analytics testing these models found that even though O3 performed better than other models, it still only provided accurate financial analysis 48% of the time. So essentially, you got a coin flip. Like, you have a better opportunity to just flip a coin and know if it's going to be right. So imagine making a business decision, a medical diagnosis, or legal judgment based on AI that's wrong nearly half the time, but presents information with complete confidence. Now, I've seen that users quickly lose trust in systems that provide incorrect information. This increased hallucination rate could severely limit the applicability of these models in industries where accuracy is paramount, such as healthcare, finance, and legal. Now, OpenAI is in intensive global competition with other companies, Google, Meta, Anthropic, and DeepSeek, right? So this competitive pressure appears to be leading OpenAI to release models before they're ready. Now, not only to mention this, these models are extremely expensive. OpenAI recent $300 billion valuation and massive fundraising efforts likely create additional pressure to demonstrate technological leadership regardless of the risk. Now, despite knowing about these serious hallucinations, OpenAI released them to paying subscribers anyways, effectively making users unwittingly participants in their debugging process. That's a great idea. Let's throw it out in production, see what the users think, we'll release now and fix later, right? That approach might work for video games or social media apps, but it's highly questionable for a tool that people may rely on for important information. Now, I've always maintained that products with known serious flaws should never be released to customers until those flaws are addressed. And again, serious, like little bugs is one thing. But with a hallucination rate of 33% for O3 and 48% for O4 Mini, these models could become significant sources of misinformation. And it's funny how this, Facebook got blasted for this years ago, and yet now we're, celebrating OpenAI for these amazing models. So an OpenAI suggests that integrating web search capabilities could ground the models in factual information and reduce hallucinations, as long as it doesn't make up its sources, right? So we've seen with previous models, the ability to search doesn't necessarily prevent hallucination. Models can still misinterpret or misrepresent the information they do find. According to OpenAI, even when equipped with search capabilities, their models still don't achieve anywhere near accuracy, right? So having built data integration on systems for a long time, and again, if your company needs help connecting these systems, reach out to us because our specialty is helping you build these systems and helping you build some awesome AI agents to do some good, effective and confident, AI processing for you. Reach out to us at startuphack.com/Spencer. Now, former OpenAI researcher also suggests that the increased hallucination rates may be due to the reinforced learning techniques that are being used to train those reasoning models. This suggests a fundamental issue with the training methodology that OpenAI is using, not just a minor bug that can be easily fixed. So despite these serious issues, OpenAI is trying to rapidly push these models into production environments. And the company has recently reduced its transparency by eliminating certain safety tests and not publishing model cards with detailed information about known issues. Now, I don't know about you, but I don't actually even really use ChatGPT anymore because, frankly, I have not been impressed with their models. I use Claude. I use Gemini a lot. We use a lot of other open source models and AI agents that we build. But I don't like the hallucinations that came from OpenAI. I don't like where their training is. And I've overall just been really unhappy, and I don't trust the organization of OpenAI. So I'm going to give my obvious bias here because my bias is actually against OpenAI. But I read information like this and I find information that I'm getting from the source. I'm not getting this from secondhand. This is from their own released benchmarks. And so I read information like this and I just become really distrusting because to me, software is about building accuracy. It's about building automation that I can rely on. I build automation with systems because they are perfect. They work every time. It does the same thing over and over. What I don't trust is when we get into these rates of 33 and 48% hallucinations. How are we supposed to trust the system? The very initial openness of OpenAI is going away. And I think that this is a really troubling sign for the industry. Now, what are your thoughts? Do you agree? Do you disagree? I love to have a healthy competition too if we're doing something fun, but conversation. Because here at Startup Hack, we love to train software developers in our licensed coding bootcamps, as well as to build custom software solutions for companies. So if we can help you build some things or get your systems connected, we would love to. So hit us up at startuphack.com/Spencer, and here's some great information.
Hi, my name is Spencer Thomason, and I'm a fractional CTO. With over a decade of executive leadership and a solid 25 years in software development, I've mastered the art of transforming technology teams and products. So what is a fractional CTO? This is where you can contract someone like myself to come into your organization and get the benefits of a seasoned CTO without having to employ me full time. In today's fast-paced world, efficiency, security, and product scaling aren't just goals, they're necessities. My passion is building impactful products and enhancing organizational efficiencies through technology. From startups to small businesses, my approach leverages lean methodologies to not just meet but exceed your strategic goals. Whether it's through executive mentoring, cloud system architecture, or launching a minimum viable product swiftly, my aim is to make a significant impact right from the start. Recognized in the Arizona startup ecosystem, my journey has been about creating value and fostering innovation. I have led technology for companies like GoDaddy, SRP, and Wells Fargo and turned challenges into milestones. I've taken this learning and launched 7 of my own brands, and now I want to help you. So if you're looking for a fractional CTO who brings a wealth of experience, strategic vision, and a proven track record, let's connect. Together we can build technology that not only drives your business forward, but also makes a difference. Technology leadership redefined to fit your needs. So reach out today.